Snow fell hard that morning, covering everything in cold silence. The trees stood like white ghosts. The cabin stood far from any road, hidden deep in the forest. No one had passed by in weeks. No human. No animal, nothing. Only the wind howled, sometimes reminding the man he was alone. Jared, a former scout soldier, lived there with only one companion, his loyal dog, Tank. Tank wasn't just a pet. He was trained during the war, smart and fast, with a nose sharper than any machine. The war had ended a year ago, or at least, that's what the human news said. But Jared didn't trust the peace. Not after what he'd seen. He stirred the fire and looked outside through the frost-covered window. Tank sat near the door, ears twitching. Then the dog growled. Jared froze. Tank never growled for no reason. The dog stood up slowly and looked at the door. Jared stood too, grabbing the old plasma rifle from the wall. He didn't rush. Tank sniffed the bottom of the door, then barked once, short and sharp. Something was out there. Jared opened the door a few inches and peered into the snow. The trees bent in the wind. White powder danced across the ground. Nothing moved. Then Tank ran. Tank! Jared shouted, but the dog had already leapt off the porch and dashed into the trees. Jared swore and threw on his coat. He followed quickly, boots sinking in the deep snow. His eyes scanned the forest, but Tank was already out of sight. Why would Tank break training like that? He never left Jared's side unless there was danger or someone in need. Minutes passed. Jared moved quickly, following paw prints in the snow. Then he saw it up ahead. Tank stood still, ears alert. His body low, tail stiff. He wasn't attacking. He was guarding. Jared slowed. He raised his rifle. Tank didn't move, and then he saw her. Half buried in the snow, a body lay still, not human. Alien. Jared's breath caught. She was small, thin, covered in a strange silver bodysuit torn at the side. Blood blue and thick had soaked the snow beneath her. Her skin was pale violet. Her long white hair was tangled and frozen. And she was breathing. Barely. Enemy. Jared looked around quickly, heart pounding. Was this a trap? A scout? Where were the others? Tank took a step closer to her, then looked back at Jared and barked again. "Back off, boy," Jared whispered. But the alien girl opened her eyes. They were large, glowing, and full of pain. She tried to lift her hand. She couldn't. Jared tightened his grip on the rifle. She whispered something. The sound was soft and broken. "Please." That one word didn't come from the alien tongue. It came in English. A soft plea, filled with fear. Jared didn't move. His mind spun. He had fought creatures like her. Her species had raided Earth's colonies, destroyed cities, killed thousands. He had lost friends in that war. And now, one of them was at his feet. Helpless. The right thing was to leave her, or end her. That's what the law said. No alien survivors beyond borders. No mercy, no second chances. But then Tank did something strange. He walked to the alien girl, sniffed her hand, and sat next to her, protecting her. Jared stared. This dog, trained to detect threats, had made a choice. One he didn't understand. Jared knelt, rifle still aimed, and looked at the girl. Closer. Her skin was cold. Her suit was torn, showing bruises and burn marks. This wasn't just a crash. She had been beaten, tortured, maybe by her own kind. Who did this? Jared muttered. She blinked slowly, eyes fluttering. Her lips moved. Number. Sound came. He looked around again. No tracks, no ship, no other signs. Just her, alone in the snow. If she had wanted to harm him, she never would have made it this far. Jared lowered the rifle. It went against every instinct, every order from the war. But something in her broken body, in her eyes, in Tank's behavior, it made him pause. He sighed, pulled off his coat, and wrapped it around her. Then he picked her up. She was light. Almost too light. Tank led the way back home. Inside, Jared laid her on a sleeping mat near the fire. He didn't know her name. He didn't know if this would get him killed, but for now, she was just someone who needed help, and the dog had chosen mercy. The alien girl lay still, her violet skin shining faintly in the warm firelight. Jared sat across from her, elbows on his knees, rifle resting beside him. He didn't blink much. He didn't trust her. Not yet. Tank lay curled nearby, one eye always open. The fire cracked. Outside, the wind howled louder. Snow was falling heavier now, blocking any way out. They were trapped in the cabin for hours, maybe days. Jared had patched up her wounds. He wasn't a medic, but he knew how to stop bleeding. Her blood had a strange smell, metallic and sweet. It stuck to his gloves. He burned the rags he used to clean her side. If a patrol drone passed by, that scent might get picked up. He couldn't take chances. The alien girl stirred. Her fingers twitched. Her eyelids fluttered. She opened her mouth again, barely a whisper. "Where?" Jared moved closer. "You're safe, for now." Her eyes opened slowly. Those glowing irises fixed on him, not with fear, not with hate, but with confusion. She tried to sit up. She couldn't. "Stay down," Jared said, not unkindly. Her head tilted slightly, studying him. Then her gaze shifted to Tank. The dog stood and wagged his tail once. Slowly, the alien girl smiled. It was small, weak, but real. "You ... Not hurt me?" she asked. Jared's eyes narrowed. "You speak English?" She paused, searching for words. "A little slow." "Learn fast." "Great," he muttered. "Smart ones are always the dangerous ones," the girl coughed. Her body trembled. Jared brought her a cup of hot broth and held it out. She tried to reach but winced. He helped her sip. "Why are you here?" he asked. She looked at him, then stared into the fire. "Escaped," she said softly. "From what?" "Number." "Answer." Jared leaned back, eyes sharp. "You one of the scout units? Saboteurs? If you are, I'll bury you in the snow right now." She shook her head quickly, frightened. "No, no soldier. I was captive, prisoner. By them, my kind. No more part of war." Jared didn't believe her, not fully, but she sounded broken. Her voice trembled. There was something strange in her body, bruises, burns. Strange small implants on her back, like they'd been forced into her skin. Tank walked over and lay beside her, placing his head on her arm. She smiled weakly again, and whispered something in her own language to the dog. Jared didn't understand the words, but they sounded gentle. Like thanks. He stood and moved toward the window. His instincts were screaming. Helping her was already a risk. If anyone found out, he could be arrested or worse. He stared out into the white storm. "What's your name?" he asked. The alien girl closed her eyes. "Humans cannot say it, but you can call me Zahela." "Zahela," he repeated slowly. "All right. Then answer me, Zahela. What happened to your ship?" "Shot down. I run from them. They chase. I jump out. Crash. I thought I'd die in snow." Jared folded his arms. "Why were they chasing you?" Zahela didn't answer at first. Then she opened her eyes again and stared into the fire. Not pure. My kind change me. They put things in body. Test things. I not belong to their side anymore. They say I broken, useless." Her voice cracked. She turned away. Jared felt something shift in his chest. He had seen people thrown away during the war too. Good people. Used, then forgotten, but she was still an alien. He needed proof. "If you're lying, I swear I'll throw you back into that snow." Zahela didn't argue. She just nodded slowly. Then something outside moved. Jared's head snapped to the window. Tank jumped up, growling. Sahela tried to sit up again, alarm in her eyes. A red light flashed briefly between the trees. It vanished. In an instant, Jared cursed. Drones. He grabbed the rifle and moved to the side of the door. His heart pounded. They found you. Sahela gritted her teeth. They come to finish me. Tank barked twice. Jared looked at Sahela. Her eyes burned with fear. Then she whispered, Please, don't give me to them. Jared stood still. It would be safer to hand her over. Smarter. But Tank growled again, standing between the door and Sahela like he'd already made the choice. And so, Jared made his too. He turned off the lights, dropped the blackout shields, and whispered, If they're coming, we hide you deep. The cabin lights were out, the fire dimmed low. Jared moved fast, silent like a shadow. He opened the trapdoor in the floor beneath the old rugga, narrow space under the cabin he had built during the war for emergencies. It was cold, dusty, and tight, but it was the safest place. Get in, Jared whispered. Sahela hesitated. Her hands were shaking. She was still weak, but the fear in her eyes gave her strength. She slid slowly into the dark space. Tank jumped in after her without being told. Jared looked down at them, then shut the trapdoor gently and covered it again with the rug. Seconds later, a red light swept across the windows. Jared froze beside the wall. Outside, he could hear a quiet humming, like a small engine in the sky. A drone, maybe two. The humming moved in a slow circle above the cabin. Scanning, he grabbed his rifle and waited. Minutes passed. Then something clicked outside. Snow crunched. Someone or something had landed. Jared moved toward the window, just enough to peek. Shapes moved between the trees. Tall, sharp figures, alien troopers. Not machines, not drones, real soldiers. They wore black armor that shimmered like glass and carried strange weapons shaped like curved claws. Jared's heart pounded. He hadn't seen soldiers like these since the last raid near Europa Station. They didn't belong on Earth. No one said they had returned. So why were they here now? He counted 3. One of them stepped closer to the cabin. Its armor gave off a low hum. The soldier stopped near the porch, looked around, then pulled a glowing sphere from its belt. It floated from its hand and began scanning. The device moved toward the window. Jared didn't breathe. If that thing detected heat, it might sense a Sahela below. But then, Tank barked. Not a loud bark, just one sharp sound. It came from inside the floor. Jared's heart dropped. No, the sphere paused. It moved slowly, then stopped, then pulled back and floated toward the alien soldier again. A strange sound came from one of the troopers, a low mechanical voice. Then, slowly, they turned and began walking back into the trees. Jared waited. 10 full minutes. Nothing. Then he opened the trapdoor. Sahela lay curled up with Tank. She was sweating, trembling, her breathing shallow. Her glowing eyes met his. I felt them, she whispered. What do you mean? He asked, helping her up. They are connected, all soldiers, one mind. Shared thought. That's how they found me before. But this time, I blocked them, barely. You blocked a neural link? Jared stared at her. No normal person can do that. I told you, I am not like them anymore. He helped her sit on the floor near the fire. He didn't know whether to trust her completely, but part of him believed her now. And another part was asking bigger questions. Why were alien soldiers here on Earth again? Why were they chasing her? And if she could resist a linked mind, what else could she do? Tank sat beside Sahela like a guard. She gently stroked his fur with shaky fingers. I heard his thought, she said softly. He wanted to protect me. He chose me. Jared poured her some water. That dog has better judgment than most men I've met. She smiled, weak but grateful. That night Jared didn't sleep. He sat near the window, rifle across his lap, eyes on the dark forest. The snow kept falling. The soldiers didn't return, but his mind didn't stop working. Sahala wasn't just a survivor. She was something else, something new. A creation of war, maybe even a weapon. But now she was alone, hunted, broken, and possibly Earth's key to knowing what was coming. Because Jared had a bad feeling. Those soldiers weren't chasing her to punish her. They wanted to erase her, wipe her out. Like she was evidence. And if they had returned to Earth without warning, it meant only one thing. The war wasn't over. It was just sleeping. And this strange girl, half alien, half experiment, was now lying under Jared's roof, maybe for a reason. Jared sat on the cabin's porch the next morning, rifle on his lap, eyes scanning the snowy forest. It had stopped snowing, but the silence outside wasn't peaceful. It was heavy, like the world was holding its breath. Something had changed. Inside the cabin, Sahala stirred from her uneasy sleep. She looked stronger today, but her body still showed pain. Tank stayed beside her, as if he understood she wasn't just a stranger anymore. Jared stepped inside and closed the door behind him. "They didn't come back," he said. "But I don't think they're gone either." Sahala sat up slowly. "They will return. Not for me this time, for you." Jared raised an eyebrow. "Why me? You helped me. Now you are seen as one of them, a traitor." He stared at her for a long moment. "I didn't help you because I like aliens," he said. "I helped you because my dog thought you deserved it. I still don't know if he's right." She looked down, her voice soft. "That makes two of us." Jared sighed and moved to the table, where an old holopad sat. He hadn't used it in months. No calls, no messages. He didn't want to be tracked. But now he needed answers. He turned it on, linked into the off-grid data stream, and searched for anything about alien troop sightings. Nothing. No alerts. No warnings. Not even rumors. But as he dug deeper, something odd appeared. 3 colonies. On the outer belt had gone silent in the last month. No distress signals. Just darkness. He sat back slowly. Something's happening. Sahala watched him. "The Unity Council, your human leaders. They won't speak of it. They will wait until it's too late. You seem to know a lot about us. I learned during the experiments. They made us watch. Made us study human minds, hearts, emotions, then punished us for understanding." Jared looked at her differently now. She wasn't just a soldier or a survivor. She was a product of both sides, alien technology and human empathy. That combination was dangerous. To everyone. Suddenly Tank stood up and barked. Jared jumped to his feet. Sahala froze. Another sound echoed in the distance. Not a drone. Not boots. A scream, faint, sharp, full of terror. It was human. Jared grabbed his rifle and moved fast. Tank ran ahead. Sahala tried to follow, but her legs were still weak. "Stay," Jared ordered. She shook her head. "No, I know that sound." "What do you mean? That scream?" "I've heard it before. When they tested pain waves on prisoners. It's not from Earth tech." Jared didn't waste time. He rushed into the woods, Tank leading the way. They ran through thick snow until they reached a clearing. And then they saw him, a man barely conscious, strapped to a metal pole, wires dug into his arms and neck. Strange marks covered his body, glowing blue. Blood froze on his face. Around him, scorched earth and alien footprints. Jared rushed forward and pulled the man free. He was alive barely. Tank growled and circled the area. The man opened his eyes and whispered, "Warn them. They're back. They're already here." Then he passed out. Jared carried him back through the snow. Sahala waited at the door, pale with fear when she saw the marks. "They used him as a message," she said. "They know where we are." Jared laid the man down and checked his pulse. It was fading. Zahela moved closer and placed her hand gently on his chest. Her fingertips glowed softly. For a moment, the man gasped and his eyes fluttered open. Jared stared. "What did you do?" "Just energy. I can give some, but not much. It will not heal him, only slow the dying." Jared knelt beside the man. "Who did this to you?" The man's voice trembled. "They call themselves the Cleaners, alien strike squads. Meant to wipe out evidence. They killed my whole team. Burned everything. They said Earth would never know what hit it." Then he collapsed again. Zahela's hand shook. "If the Cleaners are on Earth, your people are not safe." Jared looked at her. "Why now? Why return after peace?" "Because." She hesitated, then whispered, "They lost control of something. A weapon they tried to create. And now they fear it." He stared at her. "What kind of weapon?" She looked directly into his eyes. "Me." Jared didn't speak for a long time. Zahela's words echoed in the room. "They lost control of something." Me. Outside, the wind had gone quiet, but inside the cabin, the air felt thick and heavy. Tank rested near the fire, ears still alert. The wounded man, now unconscious again, breathed faintly under the blanket Jared had wrapped him in. Jared stared at Zahela. "Explain." She sat slowly, folding her arms tightly around her thin body. "They made me different. They tried to create a soldier who could think like humans, feel like humans. They gave me thoughts, emotions, and pain. Why? They believed if they could make one of us understand humanity, they could break you or control you. Use me to spy, to manipulate, to lead you to surrender." Jared's jaw clenched. "And I failed them. I refused to kill. I cried. I helped a human prisoner escape during a test. After that, they locked me away. Started cutting, trying to fix me." Her voice broke, just slightly. Jared paced the room, mind spinning. "So now they want to erase you." "Yes, I am not their weapon. I am their mistake." Jared stopped walking. "But if they made you feel like us, then maybe you're not a mistake." Zahela looked up at him. Her glowing eyes shimmered, as if unsure whether to believe his words. He pointed to the wounded man. "If he dies, the others won't know what's coming. They won't believe me without proof." Zahela stood, unsteady but stronger than before. "Then I'll give them proof." Jared frowned. "How?" She walked to the window and looked out at the forest. "There is a place not far from here. A hidden crater. Your people think it's a meteor site, but inside it is a relay tower. That's where the Cleaners send their reports. If we reach it and destroy it, they will know we are not blind. They will back off for now." Jared raised an eyebrow. "You want to attack them?" "No," she said. "I want to make them afraid of what they created." He thought for a moment, then nodded slowly. "All right, but if we do this, we do it my way." Zahela tilted her head. "What is your way?" "We don't make noise," Jared said. "We don't go loud. We go silent, fast, and leave no trace." Tank barked once, as if agreeing. Jared packed supplies, quickly rationed bars, energy cells, thermal cloaks, and his old field scanner. He handed Zahela a small device with a red button. "If you're in trouble, press it. I'll find you." She nodded. He looked down at the unconscious man. "We leave him here. The fire will keep him warm. If we fail, they'll find him anyway. If we win, maybe someone will come for him." They set out at nightfall. The snow crunched beneath their boots. Zahela walked beside Jared, wearing one of his spare jackets. It looked too big for her, but she didn't complain. Tank moved ahead silently, sniffing the path. As they climbed the ridge toward the crater, the stars above grew brighter. Zahela pointed to a flickering red light in the distance. "There, that's the tower. Below it, a tunnel leads to the base." Jared lifted his scope. The structure looked like a communication mast, tall, metal humming with strange power. 2. Armored cleaners stood guard. A third one patrolled the upper platform. "I'll handle the top," Jared said. "You cause a small distraction near the ridge. Enough to pull the ground guards." Sahela hesitated. "If I do this, they will sense me. They may know I'm alive." He looked at her. "You sure you want to go through with it?" She nodded. "Once, it's time I stopped hiding." Jared moved fast and low, slipping through the trees. Sahela took a different path and crept toward the ridge. Then, she knelt and closed her eyes. Her body began to hum softly, energy pulsing under her skin. A faint wave, invisible to the human eye, spread out from her body. A psychic flare. The cleaners froze. One of them turned suddenly and barked in its alien tongue. The others spread out. Sahela ducked low. That was Jared's moment. He climbed up the side of the platform, rifle ready. When the top guard turned, Jared was already behind him, a single shot, clean and quiet. The alien collapsed below. Sahela pressed the button Jared had given her. A sharp pulse fried the relay signal. Sparks burst from the mast. One guard screamed something and aimed his weapon too late. Tank shot from the trees and latched onto the trooper's leg. Jared fired again, dropping the last one. Silence.z. Hala climbed up to the platform, her breath short, face pale. "It's done. They know now." Jared stared at the smoking tower. "Yeah, and now they'll come for both of us." She looked at him and said quietly, "Then we fight together." Asterisk. They returned to the cabin before sunrise. The forest was silent. Again, but different. Tense. The kind of quiet that comes before a storm. Jared moved cautiously, eyes scanning the dark. Sahela walked beside him, one hand pressed against her side. The pulse she had sent out from the crater had drained her strength. Her breathing was shallow, and her skin looked pale. Tank stayed close to her, like a soldier guarding a general. When they reached the cabin, Jared unlocked the door, rifle still in hand. The wounded man on the floor hadn't moved, but his chest rose and fell gently. Still alive, Sahela sank into a chair. Her eyes closed for a moment. Jared handed her a hot drink and said nothing. He didn't need to. She had just declared war, without weapons, without bullets. Her mind alone had sent a signal loud enough to shake the cleaners. And now they would come. Jared paced the room. "They'll bring more this time. Not scouts, not drones. Real killers." Sahela opened her eyes. "Then we prepare." "How?" he asked. "We don't have an army, no backup, just me, you, and my dog." "You have more than you think," she said quietly. "That man you saved, he was part of a recon unit. He said his team was wiped out, but maybe someone else survived." Jared thought for a moment. "Even if they did, they won't trust an ex-scout hiding in the woods with an alien girl." She looked at him. "Then you make them trust." He didn't answer right away. Then he grabbed the holopad and powered it on again. This time, he sent out a coded message, a signal only former recon soldiers would recognize. It was short, direct, and risky. "Enemy forces confirmed. Grid 93X, need eyes, need weapons, need help." Then he turned it off. "If anyone gets that, they'll know I'm serious." Sahela stood slowly. "There is one more thing." "What?" She looked at her hands. Energy glowed faintly in her fingertips. "I wasn't just made to spy on humans. I was made to match them, to evolve like them, to feel like them." Jared raised an eyebrow. "You already told me that." "No," she said. "I mean something else. The more time I spend near your kind, the stronger I get." He stepped closer. "Stronger how?" She looked up at him. "I can feel your fear, your thoughts. Not clearly, but like an echo. I think I can use it, control it, but I'll need to connect deeper." Jared looked uneasy. "That sounds like mind control." "No, it's not like that. It's a bond. You can reject it. I can't force it." He thought for a moment, then gave a small nod. If it keeps us alive, we try it. She stepped forward. Gently, she placed her hand on his chest. Her eyes glowed brighter than closed. For a few seconds, everything was silent. Then Jared's heart skipped. He saw flashes, not memories, but feelings. Pain, loneliness, her isolation. The way her own kind cut into her skin and called her worthless. The way she clung to the sound of tanks bark in the snow. The way she felt the warmth of the fire and believed for the first time that she might not die alone. Then the connection broke. Jared gasped and stepped back. Zahala stumbled too, holding her head. It worked, she whispered. Tank barked. Once, standing alert near the window, Jared looked outside. A ship, small, black, silent, landing. Between the trees, he grabbed his rifle. "They're here," Zahala stood. "Then this is it." "No," Jared said. "Not yet." He moved to a hidden panel and opened it, revealing something he hadn't touched in over a year. An old human pulse launcher. Big, heavy, illegal. "Kept that?" Zahala asked. "Didn't trust the piece." He set it near the door. "If they come through that tree line, they'll regret it." They waited. Minutes passed. Tank growled. Then the forest lit up with red lights. Dozens of cleaners moved toward the cabin, but they didn't fire. They didn't rush. They were waiting. A voice echoed, amplified, cold. "Surrender the weapon." Zahala's eyes widened. "They don't mean the gun, they mean me." Jared looked at her. "We're not giving you up." The voice spoke again. "You have 10 seconds. Then we erase you all." Zahala stepped forward. "I should go. If I walk out there, maybe they'll leave." "No," Jared said sharply. "You're not dying for them. Not today." He aimed the pulse launcher at the door. "Then we fight." The cabin shook. Outside, the cleaners stood in perfect formation, silent shadows between the trees, weapons glowing with eerie red light. They didn't move like soldiers. They moved like machines. Cold, precise. Tank growled, standing between Zahala and the door. Jared checked the charge on the pulse launcher. "We only get one shot with this. After that, it's old school fighting." Zahala stood by the window, her face calm but her hands glowing brighter than before. "If I walk out there, they'll try to bind me again. My mind will break. Then." "We don't let that happen," Jared said. "We hit them first. We show them what happens when you corner a human and his dog." She looked at him quietly. "Why do this? You don't owe me." He gave her a tired smile. "You didn't give up on yourself. That's more than most do. That means something." Outside, the voice returned. "Last chance. Surrender the traitor. We will not ask again." Zahala moved closer to the door. "I'm ready." Jared handed her a small shield chip. "Just in case I'm wrong." She clipped it to her belt and nodded. Then the lights outside dimmed. Something changed. The cleaners suddenly turned their heads like they sensed something unexpected, and then a flash from the sky. A second ship. It roared in low, fast and loud, breaking the stillness like thunder. It wasn't alien. It was human. A recon dropship, old model. Black armor, bright floodlights hovered over the trees and unleashed a rain of blaster fire at the cleaners. Jared's message had been received. The cleaners scattered as blasts tore through their ranks. Some tried to fight back, but it was too late. The humans had brought backup. The cabin door burst open as a recon unit stormed in. 4 men in dark gear with human emblems on their arms, name and position. The squad leader barked at Jared. "Jared." "Holt, former scout. This is my house." "ID confirmed," the soldier said. He looked at Zahala and raised his weapon. "Alien contact?" "She's the reason you're alive right now," Jared said quickly. "If you're here to help, don't shoot her." The man hesitated. Then he lowered the gun. Zahala didn't move. She just watched through the window as her former kind were wiped out by the recon team. One cleaner broke through the fire line, charging toward the cabin. Glowing blade in hand. Tank leapt through the open door with a savage growl. Jared raised the launcher and fired. The pulse hit the cleaner square in the chest. It exploded in a burst of blue lightning. Silence returned. Smoke rose from the trees. The remaining cleaners, if any survived, were gone. The recon team moved to secure the area. One of them checked on the wounded man inside the cabin. "He's alive," he said. "We'll get him out." Sahala stood still, looking lost. "It's over?" The squad leader turned to Jared. "We picked up your distress signal. Satellite showed strange movement in this sector. Then the alien signal from the crater confirmed it. We weren't sure what we were walking into." Jared nodded. "You walked into the future." The soldier frowned. "What's that mean?" "It means," Jared said, "this girl isn't just another alien. She's proof they're still playing with fire out there, and one of their weapons just chose peace over war." The squad leader looked at Sahala. "Command's going to want her, for study, maybe for worse." "She's not going with them," Jared said firmly. "She's staying with me. You sure about that?" Jared didn't blink. "I didn't go through all this just to hand her over like cargo." Sahala looked at him, her face soft. "You don't have to protect me anymore." "I know," Jared said. "But I still want to." The soldier sighed. "You'll be flagged. They'll watch you. Let them." The recon team began to load their injured into the dropship. The fire was dying down. Tank returned, tail wagging once, then lying down at Sahala's feet. Squad leader gave Jared one last look. "You ever change your mind, you know where to find us." Jared nodded once. The ship lifted off and vanished into the clouds. Sahala sat beside the fire, her eyes still glowing, but calm now. Jared poured her a drink and sat across from her. "You know," he said, "you didn't have to run all this way through snow and danger." She smiled gently. "I didn't know where else to go." "Well, now you do." She looked at him, voice quiet. "Will I ever be more than what they made me?" Jared took a deep breath and looked into the fire. "We all start as something we didn't choose, but what matters is what we become." She nodded. Tank rested his head on her lap, and for the first time in days, the cabin felt warm. The war might not be over, but for now, in this small place deep in the forest, peace had begun with a dog, a soldier, and the enemy girl he chose to save.